Blink Twice is the latest in the ever-expanding Eat the Rich subgenre of films. The most intriguing question at the forefront of any of these is, will it succumb to the tone-deaf pitfalls of being a critique of the rich by the rich? Zoë Kravitz may have attempted to dodge this question entirely by A. Flying through the opening so fast that Frida and Jess, Naomi Ackie and Alia Shawkat, being characterized as working-class girls is almost forgotten as a footnote by the time they're swept off to Channing Tatum's billionaire private island. And B. The rug pull moment of the film is, and hopefully this doesn't spoil anything that the trigger warning at the start of the film doesn't, more of a pointed patriarchal critique. The ties to the wealth gap are still an important aspect to this, no doubt, but the specific targets Kravitz aims for in what is all the same a pointed commentary on very current topics makes it clear that she is in no way here to simply make light jokes with no bite about a system she belongs to and fails to grasp the full scope of what makes it so destructive. No, the subject matter here is stuff that clearly and understandably has evoked fear and anger in Kravitz. And the fast-paced opening isn't necessarily a bug either. Kravitz is more interested in every character as an archetype, and not people with fully fledged internal arcs, allegory for a real person or not. She's also interested in flexing her directorial muscles in this debut with a lot of neat editing tricks, not only getting to the island very swiftly, but also really effectively detaching you from the perception of threat, allowing you to bask in the initial indulgence of the island partying before the penny drops, at which point the anxiety induced is palpable. Unlike Cuckoo's choice to turn the climax into a fun, momentous ride, Blink Twice nestles into a sickening, ticking time bomb interlaced with revelations of the horrors previously hidden from us, which doesn't let up when our heroes work to escape. And then the final minutes of the film happen. If the last scene wasn't in the film, I might not have even brought up the classic Eat the Rich movie pitfall at the beginning. But thanks to this scene, yeah, it was all I could think about as I left the cinema. What constitutes true justice for the injustices and abuses inflicted on people caught up in the sickening machinations of the most powerful and neglectful figures in our society? What constitutes appropriate vengeance against these people? I'm sure both of these questions were asked and deeply considered when deciding how to end this film. I think the questions that were neglected when considering this included, what will the choice say about the hero? What separates them from the villains? That question in particular gets really muddied by the final choice made in this film, and it's the one clear instance where Kravitz's belonging to the very wealth bracket that she is critiquing really shows, as it works against any notion that a corrupt power structure actually needs dismantling to benefit the people who are usually victimized by it. Bafflingly though, this isn't always the case in the film. There's a really deftly handled scene with Channing Tatum's Slater King that points to how he is somewhat shaped by past trauma, but how he has reacted to it and who he has become is so much more connected to his privileges than his trauma. It's quick, but it's well thought out characterization, whereas the ending seems to outright forget the one fleeting bit of characterization Frida got at the beginning. Unless this is supposed to recontextualize that, in which case we're approaching Saltburn levels of obliviousness here. I stress the word approaching here, we're not quite at Saltburn levels yet. The final note of this film being so in favour of the eye for an eye approach leaves me wondering if Kravitz really does see any discernible difference between the abuser and the abused. A real shame as well, because again, the rest of this film does not seem to encourage that thought whatsoever. It's just a real testament to the importance of a final shot.